Hello, and welcome to Cellar Notes. I'm Blair, and today we're joined by Frankie Williams. She's the president of Toad Hollow Winery. Frankie, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. I want to talk about Toad Hollow. There's a lot of points I want to hit on, but first of all, why don't you give us a little feeler for the beginnings and how it all came about? I know that there were two close friends.
In 1993, my husband Todd Williams and Rodney Strong of Rodney Strong Vineyards, both living in Healdsburg, and made that connection. And Rodney had some grapes, and he told Todd he should buy his grapes and make some wine. And Todd said, "I don't have any money, you know." And anyway, they got together and started Toad Hollow, 3,000 cases of Chardonnay. That's what we started with that many years ago, and just progressed from there. Now we do 60,000 cases of Chardonnay, and we have all the other varietals that we're doing now too. So.
And Chardonnay would be the backbone?
That is our flagship. That's what we started with. That's the wine everyone knows.
Right.
Thankfully, it's the biggest selling wine because it's our largest production inside, so it's a good thing. And it's actually named after me. It says Francine Selection on it. So that's my wine.
Very nice. I know that that's your wine, but I also know that you have a favorite that isn't that one.
Yes, indeed.
That would be the Pinot Noir Rosé.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And that's your go-to wine?
That is my go-to wine. We started doing that wine several years ago. Now dry rosés have become pretty popular. People are recognizing the fact that there is a wine besides white zin, you know, the sweet wines, that people love to drink with food. But it's also a great summer wine. It's a great holiday wine. It goes very well with ham and turkey and those kind of things. It likes heat, Thai, Indian, Southwestern food. It goes particularly well with. Very easy to drink.
I bet it's great for sitting on the deck in the California
yes,
sunshine
indeed.
too.
Yes, indeed. It's a good beach wine, a boat wine. Yeah.
Just a little footnote here. We had Taste of Lakeville here in Lakeville not so long ago, and a couple of your wines were entered, and actually two of them won first place in their category. The Faux Frog was the favorite French white, and the Pinot Rosé was the favorite blush wine. So
well,
congratulations for that.
I'd say these people have really good taste.
They do.
Yeah,
Smart Lakeville people.
Well, I just heard about that yesterday. Very pleased.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's talk a little bit about Todd. I unfortunately never had the opportunity, the pleasure of meeting him, but I did know of him and followed his career somewhat and heard many stories, many internet flashes and whatnot. He had a great zest for life. Can you tell us a little bit about Todd and what his philosophies were, let's say?
Well, he liked to drink and eat, and he loved people. Very, very social guy. So this was right up his alley.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing I've heard from everybody was the people that have met him. Just a very likable, friendly guy, easy to get along with, and just love sharing time with people. So.
And he would be eating this up. He'd like being on TV.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, he was a wonderful guy. Unfortunately, he passed away. It'll be 3 years in August. So he was front and center. He was the face of the winery, the voice of the winery. It was his vision, and so we're just trying to carry through with that vision. Fine wines at affordable prices. That's pretty much what our story is.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the wine specifically. The Chardonnay, which was your first wine, your flagship, unoaked?
Unoaked. It's been that way from day one. You will find more and more unoaked Chardonnays today because I think people got tired of the over-oaked. You know, a little oak was nice, and people think, oh, if a little oak is good, let's, you know, and they've gone over the top with it. But this is our style. It's been our style from day one. And we finally did put it on the label. It says unoaked on the label. We also went to a screw cap on both the Rosé and the Chardonnay in the last couple of years. Those two wines are our best drunk, young, and fresh. And we think that the Stelvin closure is a nice touch for that.
Absolutely. You know, it's a popular way to go. For a while, it had that stigma. You know, well, if it's got a screw cap, it must be
right.
Not the high quality, but that's just simply not the case anymore.
Absolutely not.
It's better for the wine to have a screw cap, you know. So,
yeah.
What are some of the other wines? I know that, like we mentioned earlier, the Faux Frog. You have some French wines. How did those come about?
Well, in '96, we weren't doing that much wine. We didn't have the sourcing for it. and we wanted to do more. We wanted to have more wines in the marketplace. So Rodney, who had our partner Rodney Strong, traveled to France a lot. He used to live in France, actually. So he went over and sourced some fruit, got a relationship going with some people over there, and we started doing Chard and Merlot. And we've added a couple of, we're doing a Pinot now and Syrah. And then we do 2 sparkling wines from France also, the Risqué, which is our sweet wine, and then we also do Amplexus, which is our dry, Cremant Brut. So that's how they came about, and they were so well received. We've just kept the program going, even though we don't really need to at this point, because we have plenty of California wine to sell.
And I should say this is one of my wife's favorites, the Risqué. She likes that sweet bubbly. So
Yeah, no, people love that wine.
It's a cool bottle. And speaking of cool bottles, I want to talk about the labels a little bit. They're very distinctive, and there's stories behind them. I mean, there's a reason for this stuff. The Toad represents Todd Williams.
Exactly.
And the Badger represents Rodney Strong. And I've seen other little things in there. What do those represent? Does everything have a little story, or is it just kind of a whimsical?
Well, you know, the Zinfandel label, which we don't have up here, but that had our little dog Hank on it. You know, just so we have a wine called Eric's the Red, and we've got a Viking toad on that one because our partner Eric is a Swede or a Norwegian, or
Which is good in Minnesota.
Yes, everybody wants their label kind of thing going on. But you know, the story started with Todd. He was called Toad from the time he was a little boy, and we just ran with it. So I think the labels are fun.
Yeah.
Very distinctive. And
does someone specific? Do you have a specific artist or anything that does all these labels?
We do. A very good friend and artist, Maureen Erickson. She lives in Southern California, and basically over the years, Todd would have a vision, and he would talk to her about it, and she'd put it down on paper.
That's
so
neat.
They had a great relationship.
As far as, and we don't usually touch on this, but for people that are taking vacations, going to California, can you come and visit the winery?
Yes. We do have a tasting room in downtown Healdsburg, and a lot of the time I will just meet people down there when they come into town, but if they'd like to come out to the office. We don't actually have a winery per se. We have vineyards and a big office building. So if we're around, you know, if I'm in town, you can certainly pop out, give a call, and come on out. But the tasting room is open 7 days a week downtown Healdsburg.
Fantastic. Well, Frankie, thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming out and being on Cellar Notes with us.
Well, thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Thanks. And thanks for being here again on Cellar Notes.